zeroing out the frets and not the.
Yeah, I'm making sure the stack is gonna stay zero. Okay. Yeah, my gauge is a little off. Playing with it.
Hey, gauge, sorry.
Alright, so what I've done here, I've made the strings higher off of the fingerboard by putting it's just a piece of plastic. It's just domed and it's flat on the bottom. You can take a piece of wood, even a pencil, your flat pencil, of course you'd ruin it because it'd be presses, making dents in it. Close up here by the nut. I'm trying to get the strings off of the frets, and then I went through here with a Sharpie and I marked each fret all the way down the board. So the goal is going to be, and I just checked it again to make sure I'm still flat, because when you push this underneath there, it's going to raise the pitch, so you're going to want to tune it back to standard pitch. Otherwise, if you just push it in there, and it brings it up to F, and it's going to pull relief in there. So remember to tune your guitar back to the pitch. All right, and I've already got 400 grit on this. This is a fingerboard level, but it's got a T shape to it. It's the newest thing that Stu Mac put out, and I was happy to see it because the old one that I used to use is right around here somewhere. It was that level.
Right here, right here, corner.
See how I have the sandpaper on that? This came from a yard sale at some point, or maybe, I don't even remember, it's been around my house for years. And at some point, when I saw some guy, I don't know his name, on Instagram, using a T-shaped piece of carbon fiber. He found a piece somewhere, and it was shaped like a T, and he was using a short version to level underneath frets. So, so that's great. You know, we'll get one of those and see what it's like. I also like the fact that it was only a little over 50 bucks. And I remember a long time ago when I bought that bar, that was really, really expensive. Of course, you can find those cheaper now online from different places, if the budget was there, but you wouldn't even have to technically have one that's this long. I've got a shorter one. They make one that's about this long too, so you could probably work a section of the fingerboard, and if you wanted to. I want to see how level this is across the whole board. And we're about to see. All I'm going to do is move it back and forth in this area. And we're going to take it off, and we're going to see what's high and what's low underneath those two strings. The only thing I don't like about it is it's a little cumbersome. So what do we have? We've got a rising tone, obviously, or a high fret in that area. So what I'm looking at right now is I've hit this fret, I've hit this fret, I haven't hit this fret, nor this one, 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 this one. None of these until I get to that one, and I'm hitting that fret at the very end.
What do you think most likely it is? You said they're known for consistency.
Well, how old is this guitar?
It's 04.
Okay.
And the serial number is 2004.
So, it's probably starting to get into I noticed that he didn't have a super low action and the saddle's getting lower. So, it's, this guitar is a few years from being a vintage guitar. I mean, it's 2004, it's 2020 now. So another 5 years, it's going to be technically a vintage guitar. In 20 years, supposed to be vintage. Isn't that crazy?
That's it, 20?
That's what we were told.
That was for cars.
My nephew told me 10 years ago. I said, "What kind of music do you like?" He goes, "Classic rock, like Nirvana." That was a decade ago. Okay.
Yeah. Bad thing is, they're playing that on.
So, long story short, this is probably is realistically like a getting in the range of needing a neck set. So when we talk about neck angle, that neck is coming this direction, but the tongue's not. So it's making it's a straight neck here, and then this is coming flat again. So it's showing up when we level. So I have to make some decisions. Do I just hog this thing down just for the fact of it? Because we're not buzzing. This isn't affecting anything down here. Or do I switch over to a, since we know when we played this guitar earlier, these frets aren't really, they're all level with each other, and we're not having any issues as of now down this fingerboard. So if I keep going with this, I'm gonna have to grind all this down, the work that I just did, and grind all this down, and there would just be no point. You wouldn't have much fret left, because I'm afraid that, I mean, there's just no reason to do that. And he's paying for me to do a partial refret, and I'll end up grinding it down to where his divots were in the first place. So,
What about just that last one, just grind it.
yeah, we could just grind that one down. Or we could use we could blend these in with a short block. So what we'd do if this was perfect, or we had fall off, we would follow suit with this all the way down, okay? And then we would recrown them. But we don't really, we gotta make a decision. You know, and the decision that I'm gonna make is I'm gonna blend some of this in and see how bad we are right here. And I'm gonna go back and forth, just see what we got going on at the tongue. And we're hitting all the frets at once. So we got a level plane right there where it hits the body. Got a little bit of high spots there.
So it's at the 14th
I'm gonna-
that it's been. Is that one?
I'm gonna just check that stuff right there. My main goal is to show you what I would do in both of these situations. In a perfect situation, I would have leveled the whole thing. In this situation, I'm gonna spot level. Because I would rather have fret height than to be technically correct all the way down. Because he's not playing down here.
Does it, yeah, I was gonna say, does it be a partial refret play role in that decision?
Yeah. Well, first off, if I would have refretted this, I would have taken care of that situation right out of the gate. Because, you know, I would be true with the board. And if the board was perfect, I'd probably maybe not do anything to it, but I would want to at least have all the fret tops level, so I would have hit it with sandpaper anyway. Unless it was a maple board that had been finished, then I would just do it all on the frets. So we would have caught that in a full refret, and we would have taken care of it. We would have planed it flat and give it a little bit of fall off, and then we would be leveling like normal.
Would you have done a neck reset at all? If you're sitting at the top line, reset the neck on?
Yeah, if he was having a problem, he doesn't really necessarily have an issue with the way his guitar plays. And he's still got saddle left. So, Taylors are easier to set than other ones, so they're cheaper, you know, but they still end up being about $200 to $300 in labor. So that would be me trying to sell him on a guitar that he can get by with without a neck set. And if it was mine, I still wouldn't do it. I still think it's fine. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take my short block now, and I'm gonna level this way, making sure that everything in front is blending in to the rest of it. And in front, I mean closer to the bridge. So I'm gonna take this, and I'll get that out of that vise. And I'm gonna go down underneath the string. And I'm gonna feel these frets as I go by. You'll feel if something's high because it'll boom. And so I'm doing a lot of feeling. All this stuff feels really nice and level. Luckily I'm on 400 grit, so I really don't need to be doing much of anything to this board at all. So I don't really want to sit here and do a whole lot of taking off on the frets. I'm and we're just making sure. Now I'm going underneath these strings. I'm feeling for any kind of bumps as I go down, like, and that would be where the front of this would hit something. So this is what I when, if you came into my shop and you saw on the ticket where I had spot leveled, that's what I would consider this being. I could spot level in different places, although I'm averaging out through the whole board. But I'm using a short block because I don't want to use the long one because I don't want to have to take all this off on either end. It would be very wasteful and not economical.
Not my department.
All right.
Emergency work for connection.
Now we're going to take the strings off, and I'll show you different ways to crown. This would be a best case scenario crown job. We didn't hardly touch it. We were hitting those at 400 grit, so it wasn't taking hardly anything off. So we didn't need to. Now, so this is a simple recrown. I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to do it. And I'm going to end it with how I would attempt to sing a simple recrown like this. I want the strings back off.
I see people live on frets with radius blocks. Why would you do that, or do you not?
Well, that's a good question. Let's say I want to do a micro radius right here. Let's say he bends up here and he's just like, I'm choking out and the action is real low. Then this is a 14 radius, so I might take a 16 radius block and start right here and then blend in, turn these into a 16 in the fret. So I'd be grinding off the center of the fret. Now the fret's gonna be shorter in the center than it is on the edges, but sometimes it doesn't matter because you may be doing most of your bends just on the first two strings, or you probably wouldn't even feel a difference. And it may give you that, you know, little, so you can change it into a compound radius, micro compound radius that way. Like blend that up, you know, back into the 14 and then smooth it all out. You may just want to dress with radius blocks. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm dressing with this in between the strings so I can have string changes, so I can't really get a radius block under there. But you could do that with a radius block.
Right, if you didn't have the string
Yeah.
on a flat.
Yeah, you jack it up, there's nothing wrong with that either. You could do a short radius block or one big long radius block. All necks aren't created equal, so you have to kind of deal with what you got and what you want to go. And if you the kind of person that wants to make the whole thing perfect, we wanted to make this all perfect, we have to pull all the frets. For all the frets to be even heights. But for what this is, would be the right decision. All right, so we can tape up the board, and that's you can take them up one at a time. You wanted to dress the fret that way. We'll just do the fret number 2.
Are you saying that these so little, you probably wouldn't really have to recrown them?
Yeah, I'm going to show you the process of it though. So, let's say you don't have any tools, you don't have any crowning tools, okay? That's okay. This is called a cant file. I guess you know, this is what Gibson used to use to crown their frets back in the day. I don't even think they use anything now. I think but or maybe it's probably the Plek machine, and the Plek machine comes down, and the Plek machine is just gonna grind everything flat, depending on the guy working the machine. So if you don't know how to do fret work, then you're gonna have a hard time running a Plek machine. You know, a Plek machine is gonna read the neck, and it's gonna put it on a graph, and you have to read that fingerboard, like what I did, and say, this is an issue you're having because of a neck angle issue based on the age of the guitar. What do we do? And you could look at the Plek machine and say, okay, I need to not take anything off across the whole board to make everything flat. We need to take certain things off or follow the fret profile since it all works. And you would look at the graph and you would figure that out. Otherwise, what I see a lot of times, someone will say, well, it just needs to be dead level. And machine go. And then it'll go and it would go, and it would go through there, and we wouldn't have any frets left down here. And you wouldn't have hardly any frets down here. And that's because the machine doesn't have common sense. It's a better craftsman than I am. It just doesn't have the common sense that I have. It's got a steadier hand. It knows what to do as long as it's told what to do. It'd be a good husband. But you know, but anyway, with that said, I like Plek machines. I think that it's a valuable thing, especially to an industry. And I think that you have to know fretwork to be able to use a Plek machine. And that's why Plek machines get a bad name. It's not the Plek machine, it's just the user. And it's not necessarily the user's fault. You probably have someone saying, hey, this is your job. You want to keep making $15 an hour? Go over to that machine and work it. And you need to put it in there and make the frets level. So that's probably what's going on. Anyway, with that said, I take a Sharpie. I'm going to mark my fret across the top. And then a cant file is what it says. It won't cut the fingerboard because this side's polished and that side's polished and that side's polished, and this is the file. And this file is really, really old. So it's really dull and it cuts really, really smooth, and I love it. I bought a new one and it just kind of lives at the shop. And, one day I'll have to get it out and hopefully I'll get it dull pretty quick. Because I like dull files because I'm used to them.
They're still made. They're still made.
Yeah, you can still get this. You can buy one of these from StewMac, or you can make one yourself by rolling the edge on a piece of sandpaper and then really polishing it out on a whetstone. So it's a triangle file, and I'm going to kiss the side of that fret on the side. And I'm going to kiss this side of it. Then I'm going to angle it a little bit more, and I'm going to go, what I'm doing is cutting that fret and rounding up to the center. You know, let's say it was flat. We don't really have a flat fret right now because we didn't have to take that much off. And eventually I'll be at this angle. And I'll keep rounding up by moving my file this way and then this way until I just have this tiny little black line left at the top. And I would just leave it because I'm going to polish that out in a minute. Another way to do it is I use a whole lot. I got 80/40 wire, so I'm going to use this. I've got a medium and large. It's got a large side, small side. And then I basically go on top of the fret. I draw my line. I'm going to be very careful here because, again, I'm afraid I'm going to hit the top since I didn't take very much off. And I'm going to go across it. And you crown that way. And it's just like a no-brainer.
It's got the crown built in.
Yeah, it rounds in. Sometimes I'll kind of move it to the side and go. And I've already taken care of my ends. They're not polished out with sandpaper yet.
I've heard that that those are easy to knock the top off once you get close to it. Is that your experience?
Yeah. See, with the camp file, I have to manually drive this thing, and so I don't hit the tops of them like that. But I'm about to hit the tops of everything. But I'm gonna show you a good way to do it. You can use your finger. I do that all the time. I want to dress these out. I don't have any. I'm basically my fret right now from that 400 paper. Like if this was the crown, mine are looking like this. You know, I'm just barely have kissed them. So I'm wanting to just make sure to smooth that little flat area right there at the top out. You know, they actually look, when you get up here, they look more like this. They got a little flat. And I just want to round that over. So I'm going to start with 600 grit. And when I have a job like this, where I know that I've already touched the board, I've sanded the board, I'm going to take this, and sometimes I'll use my finger, and I'll start from the end, and I'm pressing down on the board, and it's 600 grit, so I really won't take anything off, and I'm actually crowning them that way. It'll ramp over, and you almost, if you actually have scratches in the top, you'll see that it's hard to take them out. You know, the 400 grit's pretty good because it's hard for this to really do anything to the top of it, because every time you go over the fret, it ramps over the fret, and so it really saves the tops from being cut. And that's what I found.
You're not touching the wood.
Yeah, I'm touching the wood. I'm all over it. And then what I'm doing is smoothing everything out like I did that. Did the same way when I was doing the nut and making everything. When I was young, I was like, ooh. And then I ended up watching different videos. I watched Dan Earlywine do it this way. And I was like, okay, I've heard that you could do it that way. I just didn't believe it.
Yeah.
And then, so I watched him do it that way. And so I was like, okay, that gave me the confidence to try it. If I don't, and then I'll usually do this when I polish anyway. I was like, well, wait a minute, I do that with micro mesh sometimes, just to polish up frets. Now you couldn't do this on a maple board that's finished. This is one way to do it. This is what I would do if this was this guitar, where I'm really polishing frets and taking care of my fret ends. And there I'm just kind of gently going on the side of this.
Have you ever used the Z file?
Yes, I got the one that's offset, and I've got the one that's just a straight V.
Is it worth paying for that for somebody that's never done it before, or would it save me any time? Or?
I own both of them. I use camp file. Just give you an idea.
Are you saying camp, like on camping?
I used to think it was called camp,
Yeah.
what you're saying. And it may be, because I used to call it camp file. But then as I got older, I was like, I think they were saying can't file, because it can't file the fingerboard because it's got, like C-A-N-T. And so what is it?
It's can't, meaning the angle, it's can't.
Cantor.
Hey, maybe that's it. And how would
Cant is the cantor.
so how would you spell that?
C-A-N-T-E-R is
Or
cantor.
not apostrophe.
I'm so
And we're
glad that y'all are
Southerners.
smarter than I am. So that answers your question. I was wrong
Works
twice
both ways, though.
in my life.
But in Alabama, it's called a cane spot.
You gotta put the I in.
But I honestly believe that. I used to think it was a camp file. I thought the person that was telling me what I was saying camp.
I just can't hear what you're just saying. I just gotta- Why did that surprise me? I never used it.
Gotta order another. I got one, I should. I never do that stuff.
You fixing over one.
All right, now moving up to 800 grit.
So why do you prefer that triangle file instead of the Z file?
Well, the Z file I like because it would really crown them quick, and you can't hardly hit the centers. because it's at a V. It's a coarse diamond, and what I would notice is that it would take me a lot longer to clean up the fret and get all the scratches out of it. And my camp file is a 3/4 file with a nice edge on it. It's dull, so when I run it across the fret, it's almost polished out. It's just a tool that I've used for a long time, so it's not better by any means.
Can't you run those diamond files with a piece of metal or like iron and smooth it down?
You probably could, and if I use that diamond file constantly, every fret job, it may become my favorite. And I used it religiously for a few months, but it would leave the fret closer to the fingerboard really dull. And I felt like I couldn't get down in there and make it as shiny. Or I was having to spend an extra 30 minutes doing it. That's 800. Now we can keep going up. We can keep going up the grits. I'm going to use a Dremel, and we're going to stop with that.
What do you generally go to?
It depends on the fret job. If it was my guitar, I would be 600 grit. If it's shop guitar that I'm not going to use a Dremel on or put it on the buffer, I would take it up to probably 1200 grit and then steel wool it off. If I'm going to put it on most guitars, I would do what I'm going to do right now, up to 800 grit, steel wool it, and then use the little buffing wheel on it. It depends. It depends on what the guitar looks like. I do 600 on mine and still wool it off when I do my frets for my own personal guitars. Ones that I'm going to sell, it would be a higher grit. But in a factory setting, they usually only go up to 600 grit. I remember I asked Ethan when he got back from Gallup Guitar. That's Brian Gallup. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of him. And he was one of Dan Erline's students. And he has a school up in Michigan that you can go to. Ethan. Huh?
$6,000.
Yeah, something like that. It's just, and I think isn't that for the basic? I think Ethan went and took the journeyman where he lived up there for a while. And yeah, they do a whole bunch up there. What they don't do is a whole lot on repair. Repair is tough to teach. You just have to kind of get in there with somebody. So he started working at our shop when he got out of school, and I asked him, I was like, because I never went to school for this. I always wanted to when I was younger. There wasn't very many schools for it, one, and two, I didn't have any money. And any money I did, I kept spending them on tools. But I did, I asked him, I said, so what do y'all take frets up to? He goes, 600 grit, still wool it off. I was like, okay. And then, I said, man, I've been working too hard. Taking it up 1200 grit. But now I like 1200 grit. I did one, and I've done some of mine to 600 grit. But you can go higher, you'll be more happy. I get more people complaining that they want slicker frets than people that want, rougher frets. But sometimes you get them so slick that, especially with the stainless steel, it's sometimes weird for me to play that telly that I built because of the stainless steel. When I grab the strings and stuff, they slide everywhere. And so then I thought maybe I shouldn't have polished those out so much. It's making my 10s feel like 9s on that guitar. But then it's kind of fun, although I'm out of tune on it all the time. Slide. All right, so this is what it looks like with steel wool. Now, if that was a finished board, we could tape it up. We could have went down that thing, tungsten, made it super beautiful. I like the satin look like I'm getting on the fingerboard. I still got a little bit of corrosion and stuff on those frets, but my job wasn't to mess with this. But I did want to make that look nice. All I'm gonna polish these out. I mean, I've seen how to do that, and then y'all can come up here and look at some fret. Basic, that would be a basic fret level, partial refret. And, I would have promoted it as a fret dressing more than the recrown, because I didn't have to do much crowning. I want my fret guard, and I want my drill tool and my rouge.
What are you gonna charge him for this?
On this, I did like 5 frets. I don't think I'm gonna have to do much of a setup. It'll probably be about a $150 job, once all said and done. And,
I got a friend in Montgomery that's got a vintage Martin, he wants to come up and have you do a nut set up on it. What are you gonna charge him?
if it's a vintage Martin with a slant bottom nut, that's about a $125 nut. And then a lot of that nut's part of the setup, so he'd get out with parts and strings, probably around $200 when it's all said and done.
Okay.
We would have a good 2 hours in it, easy.
Polishing. Your polish is right up here on the corner.
Now, I didn't bring any safety glasses. If you do this method, you really want to use safety glasses.
There should be some.
Because,
Yeah, there should be some.
I'm okay.
We
you
have them
just,
if you need them.
huh?
We have them if you need them.
Sometimes it'll throw that dust up and it'll get in your
Yeah, you
eye.
don't want that stuff.
Look right there.
Where did I put it?
Right there in front of you,
I can't see it.
back the other way.
That's where I can't see anything in front of me.
Maybe the safety glasses will help.
Never do bifocal safety
Holiday?
Well, listen, don't forget to give me one of your feedback forms. Everybody think? Next one, I'm sure I'll do somewhere.
All right. And I'll wipe this off. I'm gonna take a look at these frets if you want to.
Can I see that file?
Yeah.